A guide to the love and mental health, healing experiences of humanity around the world. The First Love Archive opens its doors today. Hello everyone. The title of the First Love story is A Letter from First Love After 50 Years. Now, I will guide you into a new world of mental health, healing experiences. Please take a few deep breaths and exhale. Then, find a comfortable position. Close your eyes and deeply savor the story I am reading today. On behalf of the main character, if you happen to fall asleep while listening to this story, I'm proud and grateful that today's First Love Archive video trick was partially successful, as it served as an opportunity to help you recover from fatigue and overcome insomnia. Now, I will read the stories of Minsu, 70, who has lived his entire life yearning for only one woman, and Myung, 70, who has also lived alone, giving up on marriage because she could not forget the same man her entire life. My name is Minsu. Today, I'm going to tell you a story that's been buried in my heart for 50 years. Life is such a strange thing. We love, we promise, and sometimes we forget. But true love is never forgotten. Just bury it deep inside. But what if that buried love suddenly resurfaces? What if that promise from 50 years ago comes back to haunt you today? Because of this very letter, my peaceful old age was completely shaken. This letter, written to Minsu in an old envelope, had been waiting for me in my mailbox for 50 years and completely changed my life. It was the summer of 1975. I was 18 years old, the youngest son of a poor family, working in a local factory and pursuing my dreams. Every morning, I woke up at 6 a.m. and on my way to the factory, I passed the red mailbox that stood in the center of the village. That day was the same as usual. I was taking a coin out of my pocket and accidentally dropped it. I was chasing a coin that was rolling around, but a pair of white sneakers stopped it. Be careful. I looked up and there was an angel standing there. Myung was 17 years old. Even now, 50 years later, that moment. How can I remember something so vividly? Like a video screen? The sunlight bathed her long hair, and her eyes were as clear as the summer sky. The moment I accepted the coin, she handed me my heart. Became hers forever. My name is Minsu. It's Myung. Do you often come this way? That's how our conversation began. Myung was a girl who loved writing letters. Every day at 4 p.m., when I came back from work at the factory, she was writing a letter in front of the mailbox. Who are you writing to? To my sister. I go to college in Seoul. I also want to go to Seoul like my sister. Her dream was simple. I also wanted to go to Seoul and become a great person. I also wanted to leave this small town and succeed in the big world someday. We met every day. That summer with her in front of the mailbox, by the river, and on the hill behind the village, was the most beautiful season of my life. Minsu, let's make a promise. One evening, throwing stones at the river, she said. What promise? If we both succeed later, we'll meet again in Seoul. Until then, let's not forget each other. I hooked my finger with the pinky she held out. I promise, forever. We were so naive back then. Because I still didn't know how cruel The word, eternity, was. Happy times passed too quickly. At the end of August, I heard some unexpected news. Minsu, my dad collapsed. Mi-young's voice was trembling. Her father, who ran a small shop in the village, suddenly collapsed from a heart attack. You need to have surgery at a hospital. But they say this village hospital won't do it. I have to go to Seoul. The moment I heard those words, my heart sank. When? He said I have to go quickly. This week. Tears welled up in Mi-young's eyes. I didn't know what to do either. The separation given to the 18-year-old boy was too sudden and cruel. Our last meeting was in front of the mailbox. August 31, 1975, I remember that day vividly, a day I will never forget. Minsu, I'll write you a letter. We'll keep in touch even after I go to Seoul. She put a small note in my hand. Minsu, I won't forget you even when I go to Seoul. Remember our promise? I'll definitely succeed. And see you later. I love you. Mi-young, I'll write you a letter too. I'll definitely succeed and come find you. We shared a final hug. In front of that red mailbox, the smell of shampoo coming from her hair, the feel of her trembling shoulders, everything was vivid. Minsu, don't forget. I will never forget. With that, Mi-young left. That was the last I saw of Mi-young, waving her hand from behind a truck, and getting smaller and smaller. After that, I checked my mailbox every day. I stood in front of that mailbox every single day, without fail, and after getting off going to work in the morning. The first month was hopeful. I'll be busy in Seoul. I'll get a letter soon, I told myself. In the second month, I started to feel anxious. Did I write the address wrong? Did the letter get lost? After 3 months, I had to face reality. I didn't get a letter from Mi-young. I wrote a letter to Seoul. But I didn't know the exact address. I had no choice but to write. To Mi-young, Seoul. Of course, there was no reply. A year passed, 2 years passed. And I started to give up on her more and more. No, I convinced myself that I had to give up. She must have found someone better. She'll have forgotten about a country boy like me as she meets college students in Seoul. That's how I consoled myself. But as time went on, I became more and more convinced that I can't truly love anyone other than Mi-young. One day, someone around me recommended matchmaking. Minsu, you should get married now. Should I introduce you to a good woman? But I refused every time. Every time I met another woman, I saw Mi-young's image overlapping with mine, so I lived my whole life single. I had a small business and achieved some success, and I loved my nephews and nieces like my own children. Weren't you lonely? Of course I was. But being with someone other than Mi-young felt like a betrayal to her. But, sometimes, really occasionally, when I passed by that mailbox, Mi-young's image would flash through my mind. I thought I could hear her laughter. Mi-young, are you doing well? What kind of person is your husband? He treats you well. Are you happy? I used to ask myself these questions. But the only answer was the sound of the wind. Time flies. My nephews and nieces have grown up and gone their separate ways. And I'm now a single man of 70. I was lonely because I was alone, but I had no regrets, because my heart belonged to Mi-young. From beginning to end. It was last fall. A large-scale redevelopment project has begun in the village. Everything I had seen since I was little was disappearing. That red mailbox was also targeted for demolition. Yes, it's really over now. One rainy afternoon, I went to see that mailbox one last time. I want to say goodbye. The mailbox was already tilted sideways for demolition work. The door was slightly open. Just in case, I opened curiosity. The door. And at that moment, my life changed again. There were letters inside. Several old, yellowed letters. As the town developed, the mailbox was abandoned. And letters that had not been collected for decades remained inside. With trembling hands, I took out the letters one by one, and I found my name in one of them. To Minsu, the handwriting was so familiar, handwriting, which I had seen countless times that summer, 50 years ago. At that moment, time stopped. I couldn't tell if raindrops were hitting my cheeks or tears were falling. This letter has been here for 50 years, 50 years. I returned home and opened the letter with trembling hands. The envelope was worn and torn, but the letter inside was still intact. Dear Minsu, it's been a week since. I came to Seoul. Dad's surgery went well, but he's still in a lot of pain. Minsu, I'm sorry I had to leave. I was so sad when we parted ways that I wanted to cry that day. But I held it back because I felt like I shouldn't cry. Seoul is really big and complicated. There are too many people. And I feel so small in this big city. But thinking about you gives me courage, Minsu. Remember our promise? We promised to meet again if we both succeeded. I will definitely keep it. I will wait until you succeed. And come find me. No matter how long it takes. I love you. Mi Young. After reading the letter, I cried for a long time. A misunderstanding that had lasted 50 years has been resolved. She didn't forget me. She sent me a letter. It's just that the letter never reached me. It was a problem with the mailbox system. As the town expanded, the postal system changed, and some mailboxes were abandoned in the process. Mi Young's letter had been waiting for me in that mailbox for 50 years. That night, I couldn't sleep. Memories from 50 years ago came flooding back. And I made a decision. A journey to find Mi Young began, a 70-year-old man's search for his last love. First, I went to find the old villagers. Fortunately, a few people remembered Mi Young's family. Mi Young? I heard. She went up to Seoul and entered nursing school. After her father passed away, she was a good girl. I have a clue. Nursing schools. At that time, there weren't many nursing schools in Seoul. I searched for information online. With my son's help, of course. I searched for months like that. And finally, I found it. It was none other than Kim Mi Young, a nurse who worked at a general hospital in Gangnam, Seoul for 30 years before retiring 5 years ago. How much my hands were shaking when I made my first call. It's been 50 years since I heard her voice. Time has passed, but it's still the same voice. Mi Young, this is Minsu. In the village, there was a long silence. Minsu, really Minsu? Her voice was trembling. Yes, I received your letter, Mi Young. It's 50 years late. But I'm sorry. The next day, we met. In the small apartment where she lived, 70-year-old Mi Young was still beautiful. His hair was gray, but his eyes still shone like stars. Mi Young, Minsu, for the first time in 50 years. The two old men's tears wouldn't stop. I think that the tears really poured down, like the Han River. But when I actually experienced it, I thought that the novelist's expression was not an exaggeration at all, because those were the tears of the two of us, old people who had held back for 50 years. The two old men continued talking, wiping each other's tears with their palms. I was wondering why the letter didn't come. I too thought, you had forgotten me. You're not married? Mi Young shook her head. I couldn't forget you. When I heard that, my heart sank. She also lived alone for 50 years. Like me, we both held our first loves close to our hearts, without saying who would do it first. The two of us old men burst into tears again, holding back the tears we had been holding back like two reckless children. We decided to spend the rest of our time together. It was a late love at the age of 70, but it was a sincere cry that came from the depths of my heart and bones. Mi Young packed up her life in Seoul and moved to a place near her hometown. And we started dating again, meeting almost every day. 50 years later, at that riverbank, in that new park, and where that old mailbox used to be, we're still together. 50 years too late, but we kept that promise. Folks, this is my story. First love is truly unforgettable. No matter how much time passes, it lives and breathes deep in my heart. If you, like me, have an unforgettable first love, don't think it's too late, because true love has no time. Please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. I'm talking to the first love you all so desperately want to see. I would like to emphasize once again that this was the original purpose of establishing our first love archive. Please keep in mind that our first love archive videos can be viewed worldwide on YouTube. So we urge you to take action. Who knows, somewhere on the other side of this vast globe, someone who's watched our first love archive might suddenly send us a reply, perhaps even a comment. Anyway, I met my love again at dusk. But it's true that every day feels like walking on a flower path in heaven. Mi Young, thank you for waiting for 50 years. And I love you. I always say this, that I am living a happy life today. Today, I will say goodbye and close the doors of our first love archive. Thank you for watching for a long time. Rest well. Hi.